Mike DeCourcy with us. And boy, you want to talk about a team that has gone hog wild in the portal, and that's Indiana, Mike. They had 7 spots to fill. They had 0 recruits after the decommitment of Liam McNeely. They pick up Bryson Tucker, who was in the McDonald's All-American game, so a great pickup there, a 5-star. Now they've added a myriad of pieces that started with they had their backcourt, a tandem picked up in the backcourt with Rice from Washington State and Kanan Carlisle from Stanford. So they have really beefed up the backcourt immediately. There are 3 spots yet to fill. You've got Ballo that came from Arizona, the big guy, which makes you wonder, probably going to see some very similar offense for Indiana, with the exception of I would think their fans, the Indiana fans, hope that they can shoot the 3-point ball much better with Mbako back, with some of the guys they've added. Luke Goody has not committed to Indiana as far as I know yet, but there has been a lot of smoke to that potential happening. A former Fort Wayne native. Well, he's still a Fort Wayne native. I love how I catch myself in little word conundrums there, but as long as I catch it, that's okay. But they still have 3 spots to fill with all that they've added. And boy, I love watching the fan boards because they're just, well, for one, and all love to you guys, they're just crazy. Boy, I mean, because they span, you have a little bit of common sense, and then you've got a little just off the board wacko, and then kind of everything in between. Oh, they need this, and they need that, and that guy sucks, or this, that, you know. I do wonder why they did not prioritize a pure knockdown shooter. That not that they didn't get guys that can shoot the ball, but there were some guys out there that were really had the numbers to be something, but it didn't happen for whatever reason. I'm not involved in that. I don't know. But they have a completely different makeup, or will have a completely different makeup, and that's still with 3 spots open. But they're going to have Ballo is so different than Kel'el Ware. I mean, these are different players entirely. Ballo is still a rim protector, but he's a proven rebounder. Indiana and Kel'el Ware did a decent job for that for Indiana, but that was where it stopped. They need more help on the rebounding. They've got to get the wings involved. Malik Renew has to get involved, but shooting has been the issue for Indiana. And I'll say it one more time. Shooting, 3-point shooting. It's something that's where the game has gone to, and you have to adapt to that. So Indiana has to find a way to do it. Now, they apparently have gotten better at the free throw line already, because being one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country, some of the guys they picked up were are very, very good free throw shooters. So they got that going for them, which is nice.
Yeah, they absolutely need to add a shooter, and Luke Goody, if he were so inclined, would be a ideal fit for what they need in that regard. They absolutely need to add shooting. The things I like about the transfers they brought in, Ballo is a force in the lane. Kel'el Ware was a terrific player, but the last word I think you would use for him is force. He was not that. He was dynamic. He was skilled. He made a difference, but he doesn't own the lane. Like Oumar Ballo owns the lane when he plays, unless he's playing against somebody really significant. The average college center, he owns the lane against that player. The above average college center, he owns the lane. It takes a significant college center to play even with Omar Ballo physically. So that's a great start. And I love the fact that the 2 transfer guards they brought in from the dying Pac-12 are very young and have great potential. I really like that about the fact that they brought Rice and Kane and Carlisle in. They're not just promising players, talented players, but they're young. So that's a great thing. But you have to be able to shoot the ball some. Look, UConn just won the national championship as a proficient 3-point shooting team, but not an elite 3-point shooting team. They were elite defensively. They were elite offensively because they ran such great action, because they could get the ball going to the rim and score, because they could make shots if you worried about them going to the rim and scoring. But they were not elite in 3-point shooting. They were 72nd in the country in accuracy. They were 103rd in terms of the percentage of their baskets that came from 3-point range. They were 149th in terms of percentage of total points that came from 3-point range. So they weren't elite at that, and they still won the national championship. They dominated the NCAA tournament without that. So you have to be really good at it, but it doesn't have to be the focus of your offense if you want to win it all. The team they played, I don't know if you noticed this, Jim, but the team they played ran their offense through the post. I think we all saw that. So you have to be really good at it, but you don't have to be totally reliant on it. So I think Rice and Carlisle both have the ability to improve as 3-point shooters. You shoot like Carlisle shot 32 of 100. So there's a fair number of attempts there and a fair number of makes. It's not great, but it's promising. With Rice, the numbers are somewhat similar. So you can build on that. You have those guys are not non-shooters, but in order to be able to step over into Big Ten contention, you need that guy or guys who you put out there and teams are like, you got to make sure you're on him. If you're not on him, it's a problem. If you allow him, if you back off him to go worrying about doubling a drive, you're potentially giving up 3 points. You're as likely as not to give up 3 points. That's something that Indiana needs to make the next step. From what they have been and what they have added, they need that to make the next step. And I'm not saying they necessarily need more than one. The more the merrier is certainly true. But if you get one guy to add to this group who is a proven 38-plus 3-point shooter, I think you have a full roster, a full rotation then.
Oh, without question. And it's going to here's what I have been like dealing with fans. They're like, well, they want this, they want that. I'm like, you need guys that don't have to be guaranteed something. That drove me and drives me absolutely crazy when here's somebody, well, they wanted to be guaranteed a starting spot, or they wanted to be, I'm like, you know what? If you need to be guaranteed, then you can't be that good. Or you are telling me that you're above fighting for what you think you deserve. You have to fight for that, because if you can't fight for a starting spot or fight for minutes, you want them handed to you, then that tells me you're not going to fight for the team. You're not going to fight when it's on the line. And right. I want guys that are going to fight.
Absolutely true, Jim. 100% true. I think you want to go in knowing there's a role for you, either by being able to observe the roster and look at it and say, okay, I come in and I do what I do, they're going to have to put me out there. Or by somebody saying, if you come in and do what you do, we're going to put you out there. If you come in and don't do what you've done, then you're going to lose your spot. That's how it works. That's how any sport should work. But I think 100% you're right that you don't want players who need to be guaranteed opportunity, need to be guaranteed certain roles. I fully believe what you're saying is 100% true, that when you have athletes who say, I need to be guaranteed a starting spot, that's not somebody you want in your organization. that person is not a competitor. That person is wanting something to come easily to them. And sports don't come easily to anybody. Maybe LeBron, maybe MJ. But even them, if you ever followed them around during a summer when they weren't playing during their season, you'd see that even they worked maniacally to get to where they are.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and thank you for enjoying our content and videos. And make sure you hit that subscribe and notifications toggle so you don't miss out on anything, whether it's Indiana Hoosiers, the Boilers, the Colts, the Pacers, Indiana high school action, whatever's happening in sports. We're trying to bring it all to you, and make sure you don't miss out on a thing. Again, hit the subscribe button for us. Helps us out a ton. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much.